I've been watching and reading a lot of people on the internet say that they are worming their sheep, their goats, whatever, with lye. I haven't seen anybody give a recipe or a dilution factor or how they're doing it. So it seemed kind of dumb because it's drain cleaner. It's what you use to make soap with. It saponifies the fats and oils to make the soap. So I got annoyed with hearing this person say this and this person say that and that person say no. And so I sat down. I read a bunch of articles. I watched a bunch of videos and took some notes. And it's just not one-sided because I want to know, is this stupid or is this something that could possibly work? And I started off with AI overview because that is your most lazy, unreliable, and just, I just don't think it's trustworthy to read. But a lot of you read it because it's the top of the list and you don't want to go scrolling, unless you're on Facebook or something. But yeah. Anyhow, this is what they had to say. Lye is extremely dangerous and can be fatal. Online rumors suggest using it. Vets and ag organizations explicitly warn against it. When ingested, the caustic material causes chemical burns to the mouth, esophagus, and the stomach, and it can easily burn holes into the delicate lining of the intestinal tract. And that's basically all it said. So I went on to Eastern Alliance for Production Catadins.com. There's your receipt in case you want to go and fact check me. The website is there. Just look it up. They start out with so many things in life. If something sounds too easy or too good to be true, is probably not a good thing. We've all heard that saying. What is lye? It's a strong alkali, either sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, having a high pH that is highly corrosive. That means it can burn the skin or eyes on contact. It is often used to make soap from oils or fat. Not often, it is, because you need to mix the lye and the oils and or fat to saponify, and then you get your soap. Protective gloves, goggles, clothing are needed for safety. I honestly, I don't know. I guess I'm stupid. I stopped wearing gloves a couple of batches afterwards. I hate wearing gloves, to be honest. I stopped wearing goggles. It's probably stupid, though. But I have gotten the wet lye on me, or the soap batter, after it's saponified, and it does burn a little. I didn't ever get any scarring from it. It's itchy feeling. Anyway, mixing lye with water can create heat and fumes that are toxic to breathe. Not can't, it does. And I got too close to it one day trying to see if I was mixing everything correctly in the pitcher, and I did breathe in the fumes. I think this is why I have that stupid cough that you may or may not see in this video sometimes. In a lab, not in an animal, a 1% sodium hydroxide solution may be used to kill most parasites when they are exposed to it for 24 hours. The solution has a pH of over 12, which is very caustic. It works via a non-specific alkaline cytotoxicity. Lye is very alkaline and basically dissolves the worm cells. The problem with the practice in the animal is that you will need to be dissolving, or I read that. Let's back up that sentence. The problem with this practice in the animal is that you will be dissolving this sheep's gastrointestinal tract at the same time. And your sheep will probably die from the cure before the worms can kill it. They go on to say that suggestions currently circulating on the internet and social media are to use a much more diluted solution of lye mixed with water and poured into the grain mix. This sounds good, but there are reactions in the digestive system of the animal that involves acids naturally produced in the rumen and the obomasum. They are naturally produced buffers that keep the pH of the gut at the proper level for digestion. The digestive secretions will impact the ingested lye. Secretions in the rumen that occur during digestion are huge, like liters per meal. That's a lot. Thus, any caustic aspect of the ingested lye would be greatly diluted by salivary and ruminal secretions, so much so that the diluted lye would have no impact on worm parasites, especially by the time it reaches the obomasum and the intestine. The pancreas and other glands emptying into the small intestine produce bicarbonate, further buffering the impact of lye. But on the other hand, I have read some other articles. I watched some more videos, and there is on YouTube by the shepherdess, and she talked about experimenting with her small herd of 7 goats, and you can go watch her video. It's the shepherdess. But she experimented on her own goats. She also had a flock of sheep, but she said in the video she didn't want to do it on the sheep because she wasn't sure about the safety of it. So maybe she doesn't like her goats as much as the sheep. I don't know. Anyhow, that has nothing here or there to do with this lye thing other than she's using her goats. One was presenting with bottle jaw, which is a classic sign of barber pole infestation. Barber pole worm, I guess I should say, in case you don't know sheep and livestock and goats and what barber pole worms are. She pulled her flock of 7 goats off the pasture and put them into a dry lot, and then she was able to control their feed. She was able to control any fresh intake of worm infestations. Then she decided to collect fresh fecal samples, that's important, from 2 of the goats, one being the bottle jaw ewe and then or doe, and then a second doe out of her flock, which is good because this will put a little perspective onto things. If you're doing anything and you're trying to prove a point, you have to have a control, and then you have to have the end results. So her control was starting with her fecal count before doing anything else other than bringing them up off the pasture. So she also stated that she usually does these fecal samples herself. But to make it a little bit more scientifically done, she had a professional do it. Vets see fecal samples all the time. They're constantly up in their game on it. So they know how to count the egg cells properly. So she sent the fecals off, got them back. The bottle jaw ewe or doe had a 5,400 eggs per gram count, which is a lot. The second doe had a 1,250 egg per gram count, which again is a lot. So then she followed the recipe that she had and mixed the lye accordingly, which she said was 1 teaspoon of lye, and she was using granular lye. Do not use the liquid Drano. The granular lye you can get at your hardware store. Get the pure form. It should say 100% lye. There's nothing else in it. It's what I use to make soap. It works. Then you can also clean your drains. You know. So 1 teaspoon of lye dissolved into 2 cups of water. And then she used that 2 cups of water to coat 2 gallons of feed for the goats. So she just dissolved the lye, mixed it around. It does not take too long to do this, so make sure you take your time and you don't have the grains in there still. And then go ahead and dump that into the bucket of 2 gallons. This was for 7 goats. And she thoroughly wetted that feed with just that 2 cups of lye water. And then she fed it to the goats. 2 days later, she took new fecal samples from the bottled jaw doe and that second doe and sent them in. They came back as 1,200 count for the bottle jaw and a 750 eggs per gram count for the second doe. And it's the same second doe as the first test that had 1,250 in there. So that was a significant drop. And she again took these tests all to the vet. So she didn't like those numbers, so she did the same treatment again. Took that same 1 teaspoon to 2 cups of water, dissolved thoroughly mixed into 2 gallons of feed. She did say what feed. Watch her video or something. It's the Shepherdess. Go watch it. But I'm assuming that you can use any feed that your goats are already used to. Anyhow, so she did that, and 2 days later, another vet tested fecal result from the same 2 does showed 150 count for the bottle jaw ewe and 300 count for the second doe, which is kind of interesting. And I'm thinking, and my water is overflowing. But we'll just let it overflow for a minute. People in her comments were saying how their grandparents used lye like this during the Great Depression. A lot of the times if grandparents say something, especially if they had hard times back then, they probably onto something. Someone said they had chronically infected wethers and were using 3 different dewormers and they still were dying. They used the lye treatment once a week for 3 weeks and they all cleared up and are thriving. This guy said his problem was he has 450 sheep out on pasture. So it was impossible to assure each sheep getting the treated feed in an amount that would make a difference. So what he came up with is he mixed 2 pounds of lye with 250 gallons of water and then sprayed it on a rotation of grass, and they stayed on each rotation for 48 hours. He does not say how big a rotation pasture of his is, and I would imagine that you would have to have at least a 4-wheeler with a pull behind or that carry on the back there tank and one of the sprayer arms, not a, I guess, I don't know. He didn't specify that. He said that they worked. Somebody else said that they apparently tested the alkali treated feed and said it was around the same pH as a goat's saliva, which is 8 to 8.5. Sheep, I looked it up, are around 8.1 to 8.3, so it's about the same. They think this feed likely supports the goat's natural digestion since they tend not to chew the feed as long as they would while they're eating shrubbery. However, microorganisms' physiology can be thrown off in the slightest pH shift. They stated giving treated feed and having noticed improvement. So they actually tested the pH. You probably could do it with pH test strips, or maybe they actually went one step further and better and sent it out to get tested I'm not really sure, because again, they did not state that point. And then there were some other people also saying that if they burned brush or something out there in the pasture, that their horses, once the burn pit cooled, the horses would go over and eat the ash. Some woman said that she caught her horses on camera doing it. And you know, when I was a kid, my mother always burned crap out, not garbage, but like brush and broken branches from the trees out in our horse pasture. And I never saw a lady eating it, but I don't remember having to worm her like I do these two. So now I'm on the fence about this, is what I am. So I don't know who the Katahdin.com people are associated with or not. Obviously that AI thing is just BS. It gives you no information other than online rumors say to use it. Vets and ag industry say don't. There were a lot of people in video comments saying that, well, of course ag doesn't want you to use it because they don't get the money from it. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I have brush to burn. The sheep actually have a big thing of brush I need to burn. We have on the cement back here stuff that needs to burn too. I don't know if I want to do it on the cement just because I don't want to crack it. But it gives you something to think about now. So now I have the recipe to the dilution ratio and how we're feeding it. So it's kind of like a because these girls here are ribby. And I wormed them not too long ago. And I was thinking about, well, maybe I just need to do it again. Maybe I just need to pull some of this brush over here, burn it in a pen, and let them figure it out. What do you guys think? What would you do? Because, I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was the greatest idea, but nobody was also posting recipes. Nobody was posting... One person, I don't even remember who it was, but they said, oh, I don't do fecal counts. I just do the FAMACHA score, which is where you tug down on their eyelid and you look at the flesh on the inside, the inner eye right here. And the more red it is, the better it is. The more pale it is, if they're white, they're probably about to die. And she said they were on a 5. Which is not good. And she was doing this lie stuff. People jumped all over her. And then she backpedaled. I meant the color, not the number. I don't know how you get that mixed up, but I don't know. So somebody like that is not reliable because she's saying it works, but she's not taking fecal counts. FAMACHA is just an anemic thing, which is a good way to go. Try to gauge how much of a worm load your sheep or goats have, but I don't know. It's interesting though, because now there's somebody that like went and did things, spent money and tried to figure out how this is working or not. And then somebody else went and tested the pH of the feed for that mixture. Gave you a little bit more knowledge. So, I don't know. Would you guys do it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there's going to be a burn pit out here sooner or later, so it's not like I'm going to clean up all the ash. I'm going to let it go back to the earth. I guess it'll happen if it happens, right?